Good evening to everyone. We are going to now do the last of these 3 sessions of Selihot. Just a few days now before Yom Kippur. The last 2 sessions we were still not there yet. Now we're not only there yet, we're in the middle of it. We're in the middle of these days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and making the transition between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah is a day, it's called Yom Hadin. It's a day of judgment. Although, we sing, we celebrate, we enter into a new year. It's Yom Hadin in the sense that it's a day of judgment, and we deal with there's a certain heaviness, there's a certain, also uncertainty, what this judgment will turn out to be. And now we move into Yom Kippur. In Yom Kippur, Lizzie and I were talking with Rabbi David Silver a few weeks ago, and he was pointing out Yom Kippur is a much softer and happier day, because we are actually just coming as we are, and we are asking for forgiveness. And we have, at a certain point, the burden of guilt, the burden of sin, all our transgressions, we just put it out there. And it sort of lifts. And when it lifts, it's a wonderful feeling, of a new opportunity, of a new beginning. I don't know that we get that in Rosh Hashanah, but in Yom Kippur we get that. And so we're making that transition from Yom Hadin, the day of judgment, to the day of atonement and forgiveness. And so we are going to prepare for that. We're going to begin with Ben Adam, Malecha Nerdam, which, as you all know, it's traditionally sung very early in the morning. And now it's the evening. But it's not just about physical, of course, awakening. It's not Ben Adam, Malecha Nerdam, why are you asleep? When it's the very early hours of the day and we're still a little coming out of our sleep and transitioning into being awake. It's about a spiritual awakening. And now I think we have to be more awake than ever, in these days and on Yom Kippur, to be really, really present, really awake. And to appeal to God. Decha Adonai tzedakah, that's the last line, it repeats also in the middle. Yours is tzedakah. Not only justice, but also charity, in the sense of Lecha Adonai tzedakah, velanu boshet hapanim. You're the God of justice, but also the God of aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed. We say, do with us. I don't know what the translation is. Be benevolent with us. That's what it means. And be generous with us. When you do tzedakah, you're being generous. You're helping somebody who needs help. So help us. We need help. Be there for us. Be generous with us. Velanu boshet hapanim. And you are this generous being that does this thing for us. And we hold the embarrassment. So we have to be awake to be able to hold that sense of embarrassment and come before God with that attitude. So Ben Adam, page 1. Ben Adam alecha nirdam kum kera betachanunim shefoch sicha derosh selicha me'adon ha'adonim rechatze utehar ve'al te'achar ve'tere yamim ponim ve'era רוצ לעזרה לפני שוכן מעונים ומפשע וגם רשע ברח ופחד מאסונים אנשי שמך יודע ישראל נאמנים לך אדוני הצדקה ולנו בושת הפנים. Done now. המון כגבר והתגבר להתוודות על חטאים, יהל דרוש בכובד ראש לכפר על פשעים, כי לעולם לא נעלם ממנו נפלאים, בכל מאמר אשר יאמר לפניו הם נקראים. המרחם הוא ירחם עלינו כרחם אב ועל בנים, לך אדוני הצדקה ולנו בושת הפנים. And now on page 3, Akum Leshorer, this beautiful poem that, as I explained, it's not traditionally part of the Selihot service, but it's part of the Rosh Hashanah prayers in the Sephardic tradition in the morning of Rosh Hashanah, and it's sung to a Algerian melody, Akum Leshorer. I will get up to sing and to praise, and then, of course, the subject, the poet here is putting forth all the things that he or she will do, that we will do, and all of the responses we expect from God. In exchange, we make a step and God makes a step. We offer all these things, and then we hope, expect, pray that God will respond with all these things that we need, particularly on the day of Rosh Hashanah and also on the day of Yom Kippur. Akum Leshorer on page 3. Akum Leshorer וזמר העורר לאלוהי תהילתי, נגדו ארנן וגם אתחנן ואזיל לדמעתי, ישאל שבתי ימהר אישי, יחיש ישועתי, יכפר מעלי, ירפא מחלי, ימחול רשעתי, בקורי ענני אלוהי צדקי, ושמע תפילתי, אלבש חרדה עת רעדה, ברוב פחד ואימים, בתת לו תודה בעומדי ברדה, ישרים תמימים, רחום בחסדך תפנה לעבדך, ותיתן לי רחמים, האל למענך אזכה בדינך, ומחלנה אשמים, בך אדוני עשיתי בקוראי ענני אלוהי צדקי ושמע תפילתי. I love this poem. It's very moving to me. All the things that we want to do, that we are ready to do, that we wish also that we can do in authentically. You know, when it says Negdo aranen, you know, I will praise, I will sing, second line, Vegam et hanen. You know, I will sing, I will praise, but I will also plead. Hanen is to plead, is to ask. It's to ask in a very intense way. Ve'azel dimati, and I will let a tear come down. You know, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, intense prayers, and prayers where we should feel the permission to go into these very deep places and not hold back the emotion. If we feel like crying, to cry, you know, and if you feel a little embarrassed or whatever, put your talit over your head. Maybe you'll feel even more embarrassed. But just find a private space, and and just to be able to emote, to let it out, because some of the stuff we're holding is very, very deep and very intense. You know, some of us are praying for things that are difficult things in ourselves and in others. I mean, you know, there are people here who have loved ones who are dealing with serious illness. You know, we're asking for ourselves, we're asking for our loved ones, we're asking for our world, some very, very deep things, et hanen, you know, to really come from that place of pleading, and sometimes just can't hold it back. So I like that he, you know, the poet put here all these things, and also imagine God. And you know, look at after the break. You know, after the break here, Elbash Harada. You know, I am coming with terror. You know, with fear. I'm trembling. Verov pachad ve'emin. You know, it's all synonyms. It's all this feeling of awe and trembling. You know. So there is that, and there is the happy, and there is the pleading, and all of the different possibilities of prayer, all the different emotions and all the different experiences that one can go through in prayer. We're going to now turn to the 13 attributes of God's mercy that we will invoke a number of times on Yom Kippur, pleading to God and trying to access or to awaken, if you will, God's aspect of Rahum v'Hanun, of compassion and mercy and patience and love, Rav Chesed ve'emet, and truth, and just to extend God's love and compassion upon all of us who are doing, you know, who are living hard lives, complicated lives, who mess up, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unintentionally. We mess up, we get in trouble, and we're asking God not to judge us harshly, but to display for us these attributes. That's what we're doing, is to ask God, look, we're in trouble. We messed up. We're in trouble. Now we're asking you to exercise those attributes of yours. And so we hope to open that door as we say these words.
מלך יושב על כיסא רחמים, מתנהג בחסידות, אוכל עוונות עמו, מעביר ראשון ראשון, מרבה בחילה לחטאים וסליחה לפושעים, עושה צדקות עם קור בשר ורוח, לא גרעתם תגמול. אל הורית לנו לומר 13, זכור לנו היום ברית 13, כמו שהודעת לעניו מקדם, כמו שכתוב, וירד אדוני בענן, ויתייצב עם ראשם, ויקרא בשם אדוני, ויעבור אדוני על פניו, ויקרא אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, ערך אפיים ורב חסד ואמת, נוצר חסד לאלפים, נושא עוון ופשע וחטא ונקה.
נושא עוון. נושא means to lift, to carry, to lift from us. You carry the weight of our iniquity and transgression and sin. You're not to just transfer it, you carry it for us. Lift it from us. So that's why we feel, at some point in Yom Kippur, hopefully, if we've done the proper ritual properly with all the confessions, and it's authentic and it's honest and it's true, at some point we feel it lifts. I pointed out last week that I used two different musical languages. We went from Sephardic musical language to Ashkenazic musical language. We made a transition, which for many of us now is natural because we go back and forth, between these traditions. But I love the fact that we can use, we have to use all languages at our disposal, verbal. We Jews give a lot of importance to words. We believe the world was created. The Torah says the world was created with words. God spoke the world into being. So words are very, very important, very precious, and words of prayer very holy. And so we use all these words we have at our disposal, to be able to just express what's in our soul. We use musical language also, varied, happy, sad, longing, Sephardic, Ashkenazic, from all over the world, and the silence. And we use everything, and tears, and sighs, and laughter, and clapping, all the different modes that we have at our disposal to express whatever we need to express. Hopefully we won't be one of these congregations where everybody's stiff and nobody wants to say anything. It's like we want to be very, very, let ourselves go, be very expressive. On page 7, we're going to, now that we ask God to use all the attributes of compassion and mercy, we have to do our part, and our part is the confession on page 7, Ashamnu. Yai na nai nai nai, ai nai nam, ai nai nai, Ashamnu, bagadnu, גזלנו, דיברנו דופי, הבינו, והרשענו, זתנו, חמסנו, טפלנו שקר, היי, 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 יעצנו רע, כיזבנו, לצנו, מרדנו, ניאצנו, שררנו,
אבינו, פשענו, צררנו, קישינו עורף. היי ניי ניי ניי, היי ניי ניי, היי ניי ניי. רשענו, שיחתנו, תיעבנו, טעינו, תהיה איתנו. Continue now with petition Eloheinu Shebashamayim. We have here a short list. It's a longer prayer. But we are going to also then invite people to add their own petitions. So we begin with reciting. Some people will do Hebrew and some will respond in English. The English translation at the bottom of page 10. So, those who want can do the Hebrew, those who want can do the English, and then after that, we'll open it up for people to express their own prayers and petitions, always beginning with the words Eloheinu Shebashamayim. Okay? אלוהינו שבשמיים, שמע קולנו וקבל תפילתנו ברצון, אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים, hear our voices, accept our prayer. אלוהינו שבשמיים, סמוך את נפילתנו, אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים, together support us when we fall, amen. אלוהינו שבשמיים ענה תעתירתנו, אמן. אלוהינו אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים צווה איתנו ברכותיך. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים צווה איתנו ישועתך. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים רפא חולי עמך ישראל. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים תן שלום בארץ. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים תן צבא בעולם. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים תן לחם לפי הטף לשובע. אמן. אלוהינו שבשמיים תקון תפילתנו כתורת לפניך. אמן. נאו אלוהינו שבשמיים. Who wants to say a prayer? Don't be shy. Let me have faith, amen. אלוהינו שבשמיים. Help the people in Ukraine, amen. אלוהינו שבשמיים. Boldness. Give us boldness to take risks, amen. אלוהינו שבשמיים. When we are broken, make us whole, amen. אלוהינו שבשמיים. May the land continue to be green, amen. Continue with Hanenu. We made all these petitions and now we're asking God to Hanenu, to respond
God responded to many of our ancestors. Many of those who came before us found relief to their suffering, to their pain. Many of them who came before us were able to find faith and strength, and we're asking God, like God did for them, to do for us. Page 11, Anenu, and we're also going to rotate and ask for people to not be shy and to sing. Even if you don't have it absolutely right, that's not important. It's important to participate and to get it out. Anenu Elohe Avraham, Anenu, together. Anenu Elohe Avraham, Anenu. Anenu Ufach Yitzchak, Anenu. Anenu Abir Yaakov, Anenu. Anenu azocher et Rachel, Anenu. Anenu b'zchut Miriam הנביאה, Anenu. Anenu השומע לחנה, Anenu. Anenu מגן דוד, Anenu. Anenu העונה בית רצון, Anenu. Anenu העונה בצרה, Anenu. Anenu העונה בתרחמים, Anenu. Anenu Elohe המרכבה, Anenu. Anenu רחום וחנון, Anenu. Anenu רחום וחנון, Anenu. Homeward Selihot, page 13. Homeward Selihot, גולה עמוקות, חטאנו לפניך, רחם עלינו. חטאנו
לפניך רחם עלינו הדור בנפלאות זוכר ברית אבות חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו חטאנו לפניך רחם. Now this side. טוב ומיטיב, טוב ומיטיב. Now this side. לפניך רחם עלינו חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו this side חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו שומע תפילות תמים דעות חטאנו לפניך רחם עלינו. Turn now to page 17. Ya Shema Evyonecha, a beautiful poem of Rabbi Yehuda Levi, who lived in Spain in the 11th century. And now appeals to God to listen to that part of us that is Evyon, that is weak, poor, not necessarily materially poor, but spiritually poor. That part that is weak, that is maybe shy, that is held back, that is that fails, that can't get it right. And you know, we live with a lot of, I believe, although we have, many of us, a lot of material blessings and material wealth, in our society has a lot of material wealth, although there are a lot of poor people who suffer. But in general, our society has a lot of material wealth, poorly distributed, but spiritually we're all very impoverished. And when we're very impoverished spiritually, we don't have the tools, you know, to be able to rise the way we should rise. And so we're asking God to say, to look at this, you know, this diluted spirituality that we have, the lack of strength, and to help us and to hear us, although we can't do it in the way that we perhaps could or should, to look at that and to look that we are in the Ma'amakim, as it says in the second stanza. We're in the Ma'amakim. We are in deep places, you know, in not deep in a good sense, deep in the, you know, underwater, yes, underwater. And to not turn us away empty. Al na teshivem reikim. Do not turn us away empty. Give us something, give us some meaning, give us some faith, give us some courage, give us all the things that we need. Empty, not just material things. You know, we all need parnasa, we all need support, material support and sustenance. But we're talking here spiritually.
don't turn us away empty. And may this Yamim Noraim, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur, may we find things that will support us and nourish us and sustain us. And I'm talking about all these things we talked about before, faith and courage and strength. And greater spiritual depth and strength. So Yashav Ma'avyonecha, page 17. Yashema Evyonecha Amchalim Panecha Vinu Levanecha Alta Lemozenecha Ya'amemi Makamakim Ikreu Merov Esukim Al Nateshivem Rekim היום מלפניך, ישמע אביונך, המחלים פניך, אבינו לבניך, אל תעלם אוזניך, אבותם ועוונם, מחברו בזדונם, ואם לא תעשה למענם, עשה צורי למענך, ישמע אביונך, המחלים פניך, אבינו לבניך, אל תעלם אוזניך, ומחי היום חובה, ורצה כמו שייני בם, ולך תכין ליבם, וגם תקשיב אוזניך, ישמע אביונך, המחלים פניך, בינו לבניך, אוזניך דמעת פניהם תשרה, ותסוף עדר הטועה, ותקים לך רועה, ופקודתו צונך, ישמע אביונך, המחלים פניך, אבינו לבניך, אל תעלם אוזניך, הולך בדרך נכוחה, תבשרם היום סליחה, ובתפילת השחר, המסיים חינך, ישמע אביונך, המחלים פניך, אבינו לבניך, אל תעלם אוזניך. I love this melody because it has an insistent quality. It's a pleading, insistent. It's almost like a child, who's just, you know what I mean. It's like this pleading, insistent quality. And I also love this musical mode chosen for this particular, because the composer, the poet, didn't put the music. Somebody else put the music. That became the normative melody for this piyut, for this poem. I like it that it never resolves. It never closes. It stays open. Di-da-da, di-da-da-da, di-da-da-da, di-da-da-da. It doesn't go, di-da-da-da-da-da. It never closes. It stays open. The petition is open. The question is open. And it's now, in a sense, in God's hands. So sometimes we have to pay attention to these things.
It matches what you were saying about the music. But also the text, the second paragraph that you talked about before, you were saying, Ya'am mima makim, right? And then the next words, Yikrehu merov mitzukim, which was translated here in great anguish, which you could translate that way, but matzuk is also like the edge of the mountain, the very tip of the mountain. So it's the people who are in great depths, or standing on
on
the
the
tip
precipice.
of the mountain, on the precipice.
Beautiful.
Falling.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, tzukah means anguish or trouble, you know. And also it means tzuk, means this high place. Beautiful. Now we're going to conclude with, did you take the other booklet? Did you have a chance to take the other booklet? No? If you didn't, please take the other booklet. Maybe one person can get a few for people, pass it around. In the previous couple of sessions, we ended with Achot Ketana, which is the opening prayer for Rosh Hashanah. But now we're past Rosh Hashanah. We're in a different place. And in this different place, we're going to end tonight with a beautiful poem from another one of the great poets, Hebrew poets of Spain, Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra. He wrote this gorgeous poem called Dechai li teshukati, which has many different melodies. We've chosen a melody that I think is sung by the Jews of Greece, actually. And it's a poem that is used at the beginning of Yom Kippur. In Kol Nidrei, we're going to sing this poem. And it's a poem of dedication. We dedicate our entire being. Every fiber of our being is dedicated to God. Is to say, we are yours. We are here, we are yours. You have to forgive us because we are yours. We are completely in your hands. And we belong to you. And come to our rescue. And we have to mean this, you know, we have to do this throughout the day of Yom Kippur, these 25 hours, to really use this day as an opportunity to actually do this, to dedicate ourselves. So, Lechai li teshukati, turning ourselves completely into God. Page 3 in the booklet. I apologize to all the people who are joining us virtually who don't have the words. But this is what this moment calls for. Maybe they can Google Lechai li teshukati. תשוקתי בך חשקי באהבתי לך ליבי וכליותי לך רוחי ונשמתי לך ידיי לך רגליי וממחי תכונתי לך עצמי לך דמי ועורים גווייתי לך עיניי ורעיוניי וצורתי ותבניתי לך כוחי תחתי ותקוותי לך מלכות לך גאות לך תאות תהילתי לך עזרה בצרה רעתי לך אודה ותפדה עלי חטאי ורשעתי לך אישי סלח רשעי ואת פשעי ואשמתי לך חסד לך חמלה חמול על כל תלה אותי וגדול מנשוא חטאי וגדלה יד משובתי ומה אני ומה חיי ומה כוחי ועוצמתי כקש נידף מאוד נדף ותזכור משובתי בכל ליבי דרשתיך ענני יד רשעתי אנשך את דמעי לך מחייתי בדמעתי ותשלח מלאכי החן ויצונה לאומתי ושלום בואכה יאמרו בכל אחד בביאתי ואור רנוז לפניך יהי סתרי וסוכתי ותחת צל כנפיך תננן את מחיצתי. With all my heart I seek you, answer me, O God, the focus of my search. I shall pour out my tears to you as a libation. Wipe away my transgression with my tears. Together send forth the angels of grace, that they will please go out toward me. Peace unto you in your coming, they shall say in one voice upon my arrival. The lie stored away before you shall be my concealment, my shelter. Within the shadow of your wings, blessed my eternal residence. May we'll have a Gemar Chatima Tova. May we all be sealed for a year of blessing and goodness and peace and love and healing and strength and faith and all the things we so desperately need. Gemar Chatima Tova to all. I ask you to please place the one that says Mahzor supplement, please back on the table. We'll need it for Yom Kippur.